start with calculate bicycle level service for streets. I'll pull in from the example data the street shapefile, and if I open the attribute table, you'll see that for each street in Moscow we have attributes and the data associated with those attributes. These attributes are showing the number of lanes, the speed, the percent heavy vehicle, and so on. Now, the letters that I've used for these fields are the default names for the fields in the tool, but any name could be used. Instead of V for volume, you could write the word volume, or you could write the word lanes instead of N, or write the word speed. It doesn't matter what you call these attributes, you're able to identify them when you're using the tool. Let me show you how that works now. So I click on the tool and I open it up. And so you'll notice again, this is the interface. This time it's showing the help. You can hide the help or show the help by clicking on that button. And this is the overall what the tool is going to be doing. And then when you click in each field here, the help changes and it provides information for that particular piece of input or output. So going back to the first piece of input, it wants the shapefile, the street shapefile, which I, for simplicity, am calling streets for this tutorial in the example data. And then it wants to know the attributes associated, the 10 attributes for calculating bicycle level of service. Well, again, I've already named them the default values which it was looking for, WOS, but I could have named them anything, and then this is where I tell the tool to find that field. Since everything has the default value, I'll keep it that way. And then the output field, I'll also leave it as the default BLOS score. But again, I could call this BLOS score 1, which would maybe be for scenario 1. And then I could go in and change the width of the bike lane, for example, and then call it BLOS score 2 and have a different score output for a different bikeway system, for a different street system under different conditions. Now that I have all of the input there and all of the output defined, I'll click OK and run the tool. It's running the tool with these notes, and you see it took just 3 seconds to run that tool. Here's the output. It has color-coded all of the streets. And if we look in the legend up here on the left, it shows that from A to F, that's what these colors represent. And there are mostly level of service A's in the city of Moscow, but a few level of service F's even. These are the highways in town. And I'm going to close that down. And now I'm going to go to the output to see what it did. And it created 2 new fields, the bicycle level service score and then the bicycle level service text, which is the letter grade. And it calculated those based on this input. Now I'll show you the tool calculate bicycle level service for intersections. So let me bring in the intersection file for the city of Moscow. And there, let me turn off streets so that we can see that better. Those are all of the intersections for all of the streets in Moscow. Again, if we open the attribute table, it has the attributes for each intersection. Let me click on the tool. The first attribute that it wants to know about is signal. And again, open that up. You'll see that most of the attributes actually are zeros, except for when there's this field where it says signal. The Highway Capacity Manual, the current edition, actually only provides a calculation for signalized intersections. So the data is empty for everything else because it's irrelevant for this tool at this time. Perhaps future editions of the Highway Capacity Manual will provide a calculation for unsignalized intersections. So I'm going to tell it where the input shapefile is, intersections, and again it's looking for that field signal and then all of the other attributes, and it will provide the calculation. Since I have the default, I don't need to change any of this, and I'm going to go ahead and keep the default output fields as well. Click OK. It runs fairly quickly, 2 seconds, and there you have it. Here are the bicycle level service for the 16 signalized intersections in the city of Moscow. Again, most of them are bicycle level service A. There's a few, looks like B and C, but that's as low as it gets for the signalized intersections in Moscow. And when we open up the attribute table, we actually did assign a level of service to all of the unsignalized intersections, we gave it a level of service A. And that's something that the Highway Capacity Manual suggests to do until a further method is developed for unsignalized intersections. So then the next tool is calculate bicycle level service for a facility. Now, I open up the tool, and there's a few warnings that are happening here. And the first set of warnings, which are also explained in the note in the help file, is it's saying that you have to identify and highlight the starting intersection and the ending intersection for a facility. Now, a facility could be what the Highway Capacity Manual defines as a facility is a contiguous set of streets and intersections. So we could choose any group of streets and intersections, and that will be what we would call facility. Let's choose this stretch right here. And the first thing we need to do, as is noted there, is to highlight. So we go up here and we go select feature. We're going to select this intersection. We'll start there and we'll go to this intersection and we'll call that our facility. To help me select it and make sure I only get one intersection, I'm going to zoom in and then select that intersection. Now it selected the links, the streets as well, but that's okay. Just as long as I get one intersection and only one intersection. And we'll go to here. So I'll zoom into that. And then now I have to hold Shift. So I'm going to hit, get that button going, and then I hit Shift here. And now I have that intersection as well. Go back to my previous view. And you see here's our start intersection and our closing intersection. Now the other thing that's happening here with this information in the help file is this method. There are 3 different methods for calculating bicycle level service for facility. The standard method, the modified method, and then a custom method. Let's go ahead and do the standard method. There's more explanation of these 3 methods in the Highway Capacity Manual, as well as in the report that was created for this project. We'll go ahead with the standard method, and then we will provide the input street file, and it's wanting to know where's the BLOS score. And then it needs the intersection file, and I'll put that there, and then this warning here is telling us that we need to say where the output is, and if we hover over that, it tells us that the output cannot be a geodatabase, the output location must be a folder. So I'm going to click on that, and I've already created a folder. I'm calling it temp, and this is where I'll put my output. So I'll put this as facility output. And then the next thing it asks for is, and this is just a warning, but it's wanting to know the name of the file. If I don't provide anything, then it'll put that name that's there. But let's go ahead and put in Pullman Highway. So now that'll be the name of the facility that is associated with this new shapefile that's created. I'll click OK. It's running the tool. This tool takes slightly longer than the other tools. It's having to do more calculations. And again, any facility could be created along any set of intersections and streets, and then you could append all of the intersections and streets together, the facilities together, to make one big facility file. Here this created the output. It took 19 seconds. I'll close that. Let me turn off the streets so it's a little bit easier to see. This was the facility right there, and when I open the attribute table, you'll see it has this new one feature, which is the Pullman Highway, and it has a BLOS score of D. So that's bicycle level service for facilities. Now let me show you bicycle level service for pathways. I'll pull in the pathway file for the city of Moscow. These are all of the pathways. We can turn the streets back on to see how they're connected. These are the pathways throughout the shared use paths, and there's little pieces here and there that are connected. And again, I will run this tool. Likewise, there are various methods for running the bicycle level service for pathways. There's the standard method and the modified method. We'll go ahead and do the standard Highway Capacity Manual method. It wants to know where is the input shapefile, so we'll provide the shared use pathways. I've called it shared use pathways on the example folder. We'll go ahead and keep the default names. The output we'll go with is the default BLOS score and BLOS text. We could rename this scenario 1 or something if we'd like to. We'll hit OK and run the tool. And there it ran, and it's showing, and we turn off that facility, we'll close that, turn off the facility and the intersections, and to see the bicycle level of service for the pathways. And it looks like we mostly have level of service B with one stretch of level of service C, which happens to be going through the university campus.